point where the registries are there of items with good title. And one thing that I thought was quite fascinating looking at that comparison is that title insurance market is really driven by the banks because they're ultimately providing financing on properties.
Correct.
So it will be interesting to see with art lending going forwards, because that's something that, you know, there is a lot of talk about in the market. There is some of it happening. There are a lot of people talking about it. But I was curious just to think about whether, if the technology improves to the point that some of these insurances become more widely available, whether that could then have a knock-on effect on kind of art lending.
No, it certainly could. I mean, you're moving into the credit risk arena, really, in a sense. You're taking an asset, be it a piece of art or a building, property, and you're trying to work out the credit default or the lack of authenticity, shall we say, of an artworks, or the lack of authenticity of the owner of a building. How's that going to happen? I think the property market, as you quite rightly said, has a much more robust model than the art market does. It happens still in the property market, particularly in sort of not the, shall we say, westernised cities, where land ownership has changed hands 4, 5, 6 times in the last 100 years. So that happens quite often. I think the technology, we're talking about blockchain, I think could be a game changer, but I think it's going to be a slow process,
definitely.
Unfortunately,
no, definitely. I think it's just way kind of too early days almost.
But it's good to hear that, or good to know that the market's thinking about it and talking about
definitely.
it. We're not burying our heads in the sand as the insurance market does from time to time.
So one other thing I wanted to look at just around sort of the idea of how blockchain would be used practically, from the perspective of obviously being linked to artworks. And there's also been some talk about different kind of tagging systems, whether it's sort of bioengineered DNA, whether it's you're looking at almost like your smart water type of tagging system. And so again, it'd just be interesting to get your thoughts on sort of what you think of those kind of technologies.
I mean, definitely with the blockchain technology, there needs to be some kind of fingerprint tagging of the artwork, be it a painting, sculpture, whatever it may be. Even with digital art, we need to have some form of tagging to it, and I'm not quite sure how you would affect that without it being able to be removed or amended or changed or altered. I guess the smart water technology is fantastic, but it only has a short shelf life. So smart water traditionally stays, the DNA of smart water stays on the item, be it you as a criminal, or be it a bank vault door, or be it any item, so cash for example, for 3 months. So after those 3 months the DNA has faded and there's no way of checking that item was damaged by smart water, or should we say contaminated by smart water. So there needs to be some form of technology, I think, where an item can be sprayed, touched or tagged, and I think that very item is going to be the key to success for blockchain. If you can put that identity, official identity, to that work of art, I think we've cracked it. And I think that is going to be the biggest challenge. Definitely the biggest challenge.
So Deloitte every year, of course, do that big art and finance report, and I came across quite an interesting statistic in last year's, which they just released a new one, and the percentage had gone up this year, so that was quite interesting. Where basically they one of their main survey findings was they revealed that about 75% of all the respondents agreed that authenticity, lack of provenance, forgery and attribution are some of the biggest threats to the credibility of the art market. And I think this year's report, I think it had gone up to like 81% or something.
I'm not surprised.
Exactly. So with that in mind, I just wondered whether you think that the insurance market could maybe be doing a bit more to try and help kind of tackle some of those issues.
I think we have to play a part or a role in that. I think being very open, there's definitely an underlying fraudulent network within the art world, and there always has been, and there always will be, and that's happened for hundreds of years. And although the Serious Fraud Squad and Serious Fraud Office have tried to stamp some of those out, and the Art Loss Register helps, and all the intelligence helps, there's just an underlying issue around particularly fakes and forgeries, as I think we was going to talk about earlier on, and authenticity of art, definitely. But it's just a simple way to move money as well.
Yeah.
When you have a work of art, you have a sculpture, it can be moved almost under the radar.
Yeah.
Similar to diamonds, really.